This essay example, as well as thousands of others, is available in text format on our website for free and without registration. Simply Google IvyPanda Free Essays.
Effects of a natural disaster on a country. Introduction. Natural disasters range from climatic disasters such as droughts, floods, hurricanes, and tornadoes to geological disasters like earthquakes, volcanoes, and tsunamis. The effects of natural disasters are both short-term and long-term and lead to either negative or positive consequences on the economy of a country. Natural disasters generally affect the physical infrastructural facilities, agricultural productivity, and even lead to loss of life and cause damage to property. Various factors influence the effects of a disaster on a country, among them the magnitude of the disaster, the geography of the area affected, and recovery efforts directed towards reducing the immediate effects of a disaster. Failure to mitigate the short-term economic effects of a disaster affects long-term economic growth of a country. Effects of natural disasters on natural resources. The effects of natural disasters on natural resources can be both negative and positive. Natural disasters such as hurricanes and tornadoes dislodge trees, causing a reduction in forest cover. Hurricanes and floods also wash away the fertile topsoil, reducing soil fertility. That negatively affects agricultural productivity. Disasters also lead to the destruction of agricultural resources, notably crops and livestock. Natural disasters such as droughts and floods affect crop and livestock farming, thus reducing agricultural production. This phenomenon results in high food prices products, which in turn affect the economic stability of a region or country. Natural disasters also lead to the destruction of wildlife and natural phenomena, thus affecting tourism. For instance, storms such as the Tenerife storm in 2005 destroyed El Dido de Dios, an important tourist attraction, thus affecting tourism. Natural disasters can also cause beneficial effects to a country's economy. Rich, fertile alluvial soils deposited on floodplains are ideal for farming of crops. Additionally, Abbott posits that disasters such as volcanic eruptions emit volcanic ash that forms fertile volcanic soils ideal for agriculture. Volcanic eruptions also lead to the formation of craters that are important tourist attractions. Effects of natural disasters on physical infrastructure. Natural disasters such as earthquakes and floods destroy infrastructural facilities such as roads and airports, affecting transportation and economic growth. As Temple says, physical infrastructural facilities are important in stimulating the economic growth of any country. However, natural disasters destroy these structures and thus negatively affect economic growth of a country. Critical infrastructure such as transportation and communication, health systems, and energy supply are affected by natural infrastructure. However, efforts geared towards reconstruction and rebuilding of physical infrastructural facilities can help promote return to normalcy. Impacts of natural disasters on population. Natural disasters have negative effects on population growth of a country. Many lives are lost during natural catastrophes such as tsunamis and floods, which reduces the population of a region or a country. A good example is the Japan tragedy, which saw thousands of lives lost. Additionally, Kane laments that the prospects of a natural disaster occurring causes fear, which leads to a decline in birth rate of the population. Destruction of natural resources affects the economy, leading to low per capita income among the citizens, which in turn influences the fertility rate of a population. Low fertility rate contributes to a decline in population growth. Economic effects of natural disasters. Natural disasters negatively affect important sectors of a country's economy. Natural disasters affect a country's energy production stations, including oil refineries and nuclear plants, leads to an energy crisis, which results in high oil prices. According to the Congressional Research Service report, Hurricane Katrina affected oil refineries and pipelines in the U.S. Gulf Coast, leading to higher oil prices nationally and internationally. This led to slower economic growth of the regions hit by that hurricane. Japan is still battling to prevent a nuclear disaster following the recent earthquake and tsunami that rocked the country recently. Natural disasters also lead to reduced domestic and international trade, which negatively affect the economy. Moreover, natural disasters affect ports and transportation, which lead to reduction of the amount of imports and exports, thus affecting trade. Additionally, natural disasters can bring beneficial effects to the economy of a region. Skidmore and Toya highlight that natural disasters precede intensive construction and building activities to bring about recovery. The locals and the businesses operating in a region affected by the natural disaster are employed in these recovery activities. However, the destruction of property and infrastructure by natural disasters often result in massive unemployment rates. Effects of natural disasters on human labor and technology. Skilled human labor is an important element in achieving economic development in any country. Natural disasters like floods and volcanoes cause death and loss of life, thereby reducing the human capital of a region, and as Skoufas notes, natural disasters also affect training of human capital through the disruption of schools and damage to training facilities. Damage to property and unemployment lead to reduced family income, which affect education of especially the young people, leading to majority of students to drop out of school. Natural disasters adversely affect technological developments of a country. However, natural disasters can stimulate technological innovations to withstand future disasters such as earthquakes. Technological innovations promote economic growth of a country. Effects of Hurricane Katrina to the U.S. economy. Hurricane Katrina caused damage to many residential properties and affected physical infrastructure like roads and bridges in many states, especially Louisiana and Mississippi. Wastewater disposal systems were affected, especially in New Orleans, due to damage caused on pipes. It also affected water supply, electricity, and essential healthcare delivery to the affected regions. Transportation of oil products and gas back and forth these regions were affected. Hurricane Katrina affected the economy of the states hit by the disaster and the national economy. The U.S. national economic growth declined up to 1.0% because of the effects of that hurricane in these states. However, rebuilding activities will enhance economic growth. That hurricane disaster affected the energy production centers, including the oil refineries in Louisiana. The daily output of these refineries reduced because of the effects of that hurricane, leading to a rise in oil and gas prices in the country. The effects on the ports and oil pipes also contributed to the energy crisis experienced during the same period. Due to the destruction of property and industrial facilities by that hurricane, high unemployment rates occurred in these states. Recovery efforts involve rebuilding the industrial and physical infrastructure and facilities such as schools. Conclusion. The effects of natural disasters are both short-term, including loss of life and damage to property, and long-term, affecting the economic stability of a region or a country. Damage to infrastructure and energy production centers lead to adverse effects on a country's economic development. Recovery efforts involving construction and rebuilding of facilities help reverse the effects of disasters and provide employment to the affected people. Other natural disasters such as floods bring beneficial products as sectors such as agriculture improve. This essay on effects of a natural disaster on a country was written and submitted by your fellow student. You are free to use it for research and reference purposes in order to write your own paper. However, you must cite it accordingly.